visiems esate labai svarbus. Tikrai paplokit savo, negailėkit. Atsipalaiduokit, negailėkit. Jūs esate tikri maksimalistai. Ponios ir ponai, sveiki atvykę į BASF organizuojamą tarptautinę augalų apsaugos ekspertų konferenciją REVYLIUCIJA tęsiasi. Labas rytas, tikrai galime matyti. Ateina į konferencijas dėl to, kad sužinotų kažką naujo, kažką daugiau, kad galėtų tobulinti ir toliau kurti savo ūkius, kad mes būtume sveiki, pavalgę ir laimingi. Aš žiūriu į programą, žinokit, gerbėmieji maksimalistai. Čia tokia maksimaliai stipri programa. Mes tikrai papasakosime jums apie produktus, kurie sukels revoliuciją. We've actually done a lot of work looking at the mix.
Hello, my name's Andrew Smooker and I'm an agronomy manager with BASF in the UK. A very big hello to the winter conference in Lithuania, and I'm here today in Lincolnshire in the UK with a very well-known name in UK farming and globally as well, Mr. Tim Lammerman, in the very field where the winter barley world record was broken in harvest 2022. So Tim, perhaps you could just give us a little bit of background to this field and the actual world record breaking in 22.
Thank you very much for the introduction, Andrew. So we're at Worleby, in the heart of the Lincolnshire Wolds. It's grade 2 sort of land. It's very stony, as you can probably see from the pictures, and it's one of those things that over the years I've tried to progress over all sorts of areas in world record production. I managed in 2022 to get a world wheat record and a world winter barley record in the same year, and it's not from one thing on its own. It's from identifying all the weaknesses in your growing pattern and trying to iron them out. So we started probably 25-30 years ago looking at land work, and to be honest, only in the last couple of years have we altered that. We generally do an intensive minimum tillage or a ploughing once in 3, 1 in 5, and then we've moved into the fungicides, insecticide, herbicides, and the whole growing of the plant. So the system is right from the start. So when you set off doing a plant in the autumn, you've got to get the root structures going. So we start from the root structures right from the 1 to 2 leaf stage, try and get cytokinin growth in there, expand that root structure. As soon as you've got a bigger root structure, you've got a bigger, healthier plant, more even tillers. Once you've got an even field, it's then moving into working out that evenness of tillers across the thing, how to keep those greener for longer. and that's where all sorts of different elements come into the program. So we start to look at fungicides, trying to not hurt it with herbicides late in the spring to keep that growing pattern going, but obviously we don't want rubbish in there because it's to try and keep that pattern going. So we try and put the best herbicides, insecticides on there, but kind to the plant. And for example, from the fungicide side, we use with great joy and pleasure the Revistar type program, keeping it greener for longer, and it certainly, we saw that in no end of abundance in 2022. It helped with the weather pattern and everything else with that dry weather. Got a better nitrogen conversion rate from it, which has already been proved, and that was just one of the many elements. With that increased root structure, with the cytokinin growth, this comes from the nutrition type program. We start with what we call smart nutrition, getting that cytokinin growth in there, getting the roots deeper, stronger, and then you get the evenly tilling. From that, we've got to keep it greener for longer, so we start to move into a more nutritional type program. So on here we're always short of boron and magnesium, so that's inherently in the program, right from sort of T0 program right through to T3, in enough relevance to keep those levels there. The X-Stress type program and the Cowfoot type program, these will eliminate these elements of problem. And then we finished off with a nutritional product called Tip Top, which is an NPK, and we believe this helped with the extra greening with the Revistar in the program as well, to keep that plant green for longer and converting the yield to what we got with the world records. And putting all these elements together is what made the world record happen.
I understand the Baltics are very interested in trying to drive yields, potentially get a record. So any advice for the guys, or any comments for the Baltics?
It's like everything else, for doing world records, first of all you've got to identify what your challenges are, which is basically limiting factors. So my advice on world records is work out what your limiting factors are, work out if there's any way you can get around those limiting factors, and keep working very hard on developing new systems to take yields further forward. Because if you stay where you are, and I will never try and stay where I am, I'll always try and keep improving things, but my main aim is always to improve things where the weaknesses are.
Siekiamybių ūkininkų